This next photo, you can see there was a larger pipe, probably 2-inch diameter.
Robert Becker of the U.S. Forest Service leafs through pictures of the carnage. 11 public bathrooms with the plumbing torn out, some only a few years old. The thieves even took toilet flush arms. Hundreds of pounds of copper are gone, and nobody can figure out how the thieves took it.
We really haven't found evidence that maybe they were using sleds to haul it off on. Maybe some footprints. They're just maybe sticking it in backpacks and hauling it off. Either that or along the beaches. Maybe they were sophisticated in doing it by boat. We really don't know at this point.
Local authorities have stepped up surveillance, but in the long term, the Forest Service plans to replace the pipes with something other than copper. Despite the vandalism, Becker says the lake's recreation sites will be open as usual in May. Kai Plaskon, Capital Public Radio News.
The first photo here is a copy of this chaseway I was describing. And as you can see, you don't see much copper in there. Normally, these are the pipes that would actually drain all the gray water and black water away. But normally on these bare walls, you would see a lot of gleaming copper, shuffling water around and directing it to the various places where it'd be. As you can see, there's none there right now. This next photo, you can see there was a larger pipe, probably 2-inch diameter, where rather than take the time to cut it, they just started bending it back and forth until it finally gave. So they were able to take that away. Some others here. This looks like where they were able to actually take one of the smaller water pipes and probably with a hacksaw. Actually, like a pretty clean cut. They probably just went right through with a hacksaw. Copper's a pretty soft metal. They can go through it with it pretty quickly with a hacksaw. And again, here's just another photo of some more damage, a piece of copper hanging out where there should be things attached to it that aren't.
And how does that, taking a look at this, it's a big mess, everything's gone.
Yeah.
What is that, is it making you mad or what?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. Again, we work really hard up here in the Forest Service to provide nice quality buildings and structures for the public. And to look at something, especially this generation of building, they cost a little bit more. They're built to a higher standard, to a higher code. Again, we want them to last a long time. When you look at this, it's just, it sets you back. Now we've got to go back and fix them again. And again, we will not be putting copper back in these buildings. We're going to remove the desire, the target, the inspiration for these thefts, and put a different kind of material in there that has no market value in a recycle world.
And so have you seen this kind of level of theft before?
No, not to this degree. Generally in Lake Tahoe, we deal with just chronic low-level vandalism. That occurs. It's a lot of people come to visit in Lake Tahoe. But the level of theft that these copper thieves, that what this represents, is a much larger scale.
Yeah, you were saying it's kind of a level of enthusiasm. It's not just, hey, we're going to, there's a crime of opportunity. It's almost like it's planned in some way or another that we'll hit this place and that place.
Well, we're just judging. We're not the only ones that have been hit. The California State Parks have also been hit. We have one of our organization camps. We roughly have about 11 buildings so far that have been hit, and that to us seems to mean that this is premeditated. Somebody knows that there's some targets out there that have copper, and they're targeting them.
Yeah. So what are you going to do you think?
Well, we've got a couple strategies. One, we'd like to catch the guy. So we've got much more a heavy layer of surveillance out there to varying degrees, both between our law enforcement officers, our LEOs here for the Forest Service, and also the county sheriffs. So between the two of them, they're looking a lot more. Then, for a long-term solution, we're not going to put copper back in these buildings. We're going to be using another material, non-metallic, some composite that doesn't have a market value, and hopefully it will eliminate the desire to want to break into our buildings.
Huh, good solution. All right. And how much money are we talking about here?
Well, we generally the estimates are still rough, a little early in the season, but we're thinking it's roughly going to be about $10,000 per building. So we're looking at probably over $100,000 right now.
And then these places might not be able to open, I guess, as usual, right?
Well, there's a chance. We're going to work really hard. The public, when they come to Lake Tahoe, they want to use these beautiful sites. So we're going to work really hard to open them on the scheduled date. May 17th is when most of these open, other than Pope Beach. That's on Memorial Weekend. If that isn't met, it could be a small delay for the public, or if not, they're going to have to get used to portable toilets, and that might be our short-term solution until we can get these things fixed.
So I guess probably the bigger inconvenience is hitting the pocketbook, really, for the Forest Service, I guess. Huh?
Well, these are nice new buildings that the public has paid for recently. The last buildings lasted us roughly 40 to 50 years. We've just built a new generation of buildings that will hopefully last us for the next 50. They're very nice. The public likes these amenities when they come to these beaches, and we want to maintain them to a high standard. So, we're going to do what we can do to get them back into shape.
Can you describe what it is that these thieves actually did? They break the lock and then get in and grab some wire and run, or what?
Yeah, it's less wire, it's more copper tubing. We've got these these nice structures built to last, and hey, one of the best materials out there for plumbing, of course, is copper. And so when you can break into one of the chaseways, well, hey, there's a chaseway. Chase is the middle section of the restroom where all the plumbing resides. When you go into a restroom, you don't want to see all that stuff. So we have a middle room that basically is all on the interior walls, is where all this copper resides and plumbs everything away. And, hey, if they can get into that one room, then it's a pretty rich environment for copper. So they've been going in there with pretty much brute strength, bending things, wiggling things off, and also some hacksaws, and just slowly cutting these things away. And then we still haven't figured out how they're hauling this stuff away. That's a lot of weight. It was during where most of the snow was during most of the winter, so we really haven't found evidence that maybe they were using sleds to haul it off on, didn't find sled tracks, maybe some footprints, they're just maybe sticking it in backpacks and hauling it off. Either that or along the beaches, maybe they were sophisticated in doing it by boat. We really don't know at this point.
Huh. Wow. All right, anything you want to add about this?
It's just very much a frustration, and the public has a high standard for what they want to experience when they come to Lake Tahoe, and we really try hard to provide that for these folks. And when this sort of thing happens, of course, it's expensive. It's the public has to pay for it, especially for the buildings that are owned and operated by the Forest Service, and it's an inconvenience. So it's just all the way around. It's not where we want to be.